You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hey there, welcome to episode 229 of the Soul Forge podcast.
Welcome to the Soul Forge, a place of silent mystery, quiet contemplation, and outright mayhem. Join your host, Sean Vanderloo, as he guides you through the adventures of living. Together, we'll talk about life and love, sex and dating, joy and heartache, memories and loss, and so much more. Don't worry, it's not nearly as pretentious as it sounds. Get ready for life, the universe, and everything on the Soul Forge.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's the last week of November, and you know what that means. We've had a very successful Movember. Movember? What's that? I'm not too sure, but I'm here with my buddy Renee, and he's going to tell us all about it. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on the show.
Hey, it's been a while. You were due for a return appointment to Soul Forge headquarters.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while since I've been on Soul Forge. I'm trying to think back when the last one I was on. I know we've done one since Forks in the Road.
Yeah, we did Forks in the Road with your cousin and our good buddy Bob. I think you did one about something about parenting for your...
Oh, yes, for my course. We had a parenting survey and talked about going back to school and finding time to do schoolwork and everything like that. But I think I ended up talking a lot about my kids and being in hockey.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember. That's the one secret about podcasting. You talk about whatever, and then it immediately leaves your mind, and people will bring up an episode that you did years ago, and you're like, remember when you talked about this? And you're like, no, I don't. I don't remember what I talked about last week. So,
well, the good news is this week's topic, because it's only, November 21st?
Today is, as we're recording.
As we're recording, it's November 21st. November lasts the whole month, so you'll have a reminder of what we talked about for the rest of the month, at least.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, because this will come out, what's today? Sunday, so Thursday. So we're actually recording quite a bit in advance, which is kind of nice. So I don't have to do a mad rush to, what am I going to talk about this week? So here we are. So how long have you been involved with Movember for? It's been quite a while.
Yeah. So this is my 16th year of doing Movember. And you probably keep saying, well, some people don't know what Movember is, so we should probably talk about what it is first.
That was my next question.
Okay, so Movember came about, I don't remember the exact starting year. I'd have to go back because I think I missed 1 year, so I think it's been around for about 17 years now. But it was a thing that started when I first met right after I
got
married my wife. I was in her school, and some of the teachers are saying, hey, check this out, they're doing a thing, and we're growing mustaches to raise money for cancer research. Particularly, it was prostate and testicular cancer research. And it was all about men's health. So I said, okay, yeah, count me in. I've never grown a mustache up until this point, so we'll see what happens, right? So we did it, and we raised some money and raised some awareness, and it was all good. And then the next year came and gone, and nobody in the school wanted to do it that year. And me being a little bit shy, I said, well, I'm not going to grow a mustache that year. So the year after, I was like, well, this is stupid. I can do this. And the cause has gotten even bigger, right? So in going on into their third year to Movember, it just really exploded, and people wanted to get involved and do what they can, and they expanded their funding where the money goes for this charity. So as I said before, a lot of it goes to the research for prostate cancer and testicular cancer, for treatments and for cure, but they expanded it to include mental health, specifically men's mental health, because there are more men dying from suicide in US and Canada than anything else. Like,
is that right?
More than kids, more than women, and more than kids. So there's this big stigma about how men are not supposed to talk about their feelings, or men aren't supposed to be upset or have emotional issues. So Movember is trying to break that stigma and letting people know that there's help available. They're funding programs that can help people. They're doing a lot for suicide prevention. They're doing so much, and because of that, I got on board that third year, and I haven't stopped since. So every November or Movember, my upper lip has gotten very hairy, very scary. Different mustaches sometimes, but the most common one is the big broom that hangs under my nose.
Like it's a Mario.
It's a Mario. It's a Mario.
Yeah, exactly. So they call it Movember because that's short form for mustache?
Correct. So Mo, mustache, and then they just timed it with Movember. So
why November?
good question. I never
No idea.
It's never. I think it's just because it worked well with November and Movember.
It rhymes.
It rhymes, and I think it's at that changing of the season where things get a little bit more difficult. You're going into a financial crunch as well with Christmas coming up, and there's always that stress too that a lot of companies do layoffs close to Christmas. So, and Christmas is a busy time of year too. So it's right before that, but it also is a great way to just get it out there. Like there's a lot of months that have a lot of stuff going on. Of course, November is very important for our Remembrance Day here in Canada, Veterans Day in the States, where we honor our fallen soldiers that gave us our freedoms. So there's a lot of that too. I know for myself, I don't even bother collecting any donations until after Remembrance Day. I'll post a few things online, but I don't go asking for funds or anything like that. If there's anybody who's giving any money up until that point, I want to make sure it goes through the Legions and the Poppy campaigns and stuff like that. And then after that has passed on, then it's open season to support my mustache.
That's actually a really good policy. And we'll talk a little bit about that after this promo for another podcast right here on the ESO Network.
Do you know how fast you were going?
Sorry, officer. 1 episode every 2 weeks?
2 weeks!
Did you also know you're carrying a dangerously heavy load?
Yes, sir, we do. We've got interviews, fight nights, film discussions, Desert Island DVDs, and lots more.
I think we've got to take you down to the station. You do not have to write anything, but it may harm the Cosmic Pizza podcast if you do not mention, when questioned, something you later wanted in the promo or feedbacks. Anything you do say may be used in said feedback.
Cosmic Pizza podcast is not about the cosmos, all about pizza.
And we're back, and that promo had nothing to do with Movember or Men's Health, but that's okay. It's what we do here at the Soul Forge. So, you've been listening to a lot of Soul Forge episodes lately.
Yes, I even went back into some of the back catalog.
Okay, and would you find that here on Soul Forge we do talk a lot about mental health?
I do. I think it's an important part of your repertoire of topics that comes up, and I think it's important because even just sharing your experiences, it helps other people. They can either relate to it or directly not relate to it and know what they don't want to feel like. But either way, it raises awareness and encourages thought and maybe invokes an emotional response, and you'll make that connection with the listeners as well.
That's the attempt. I was not aware that Movember was also incorporating mental health. That's why this is quite interesting.
Yeah, so that's something that they've been doing for quite a while now, and they've got all kinds of stuff. If you go to Movember.com, they have a ton of information there on the foundation. There's resources there for people looking to get help or assistance. There's a sign-up page if you wish to grow your own mustache. And then there's a ton of people out there across the world that are doing donation campaigns, so you can get to their sites, you can look at their pictures. They do voting on people's mustaches.
Oh yeah?
There's some places that do Movember parties.
Really?
Not so much since the pandemic, but before the pandemic they used to do that.
So do they have like a best mustache award or
yeah,
something?
they got
like
all
that?
kinds of different categories, and you can go and vote on people's mustaches that they have put together. They also do encouragement for physical health. So there's the whole move for Movember as well. So they encourage everybody who wants to help out with Movember, being male or female or whatever your chosen designation.
Okay.
Nobody is discouraged, but they have options where if you can pledge that you're going to try and run, 50 kilometers in the month of Movember and raise money for the cause. They have a system there that can help you do that. But they do encourage people to get out and get moving to just overall improve your health as well. So it's like a health checkup month, It's a health awareness month. It's about providing access to programs, funding for research, all kinds of wonderful stuff.
So they've really expanded. At first it was about private parts cancer, and then mental health, and now movement, and getting rid of the stigma about men's feelings.
Exactly. And it was funny because they even did a thing with when Deadpool first came out. Ryan Reynolds got involved, and there was this whole thing with Deadpool reminding guys to check their nuts.
Nice.
Right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's important, right? You got to make sure that you don't have a problem with your own health. But they did it in a comical way. They've had a lot of really interesting sponsors over the years. I know for the very first year of Movember, they had Playboy as a sponsor, Playboy magazine.
Oh, yeah?
Obviously not so much anymore, but they do get some interesting ones. A lot of they get some shaving companies will sponsor, so you can get some stuff like that. They do sell Movember themed merchandise where all the profits go right back into supporting the charity, all kinds of stuff. And you'll probably find a lot of celebrities as well. If you go online and go looking, a lot of them will have a mustache on Movember because they all jump on board as well.
Well, it's important to get the word out. And it's so hard for us as men to talk about our feelings sometimes.
I 100% agree.
Especially the way we were programmed. Like, we grew up in the 80s. That's the last thing you talked about was how you were feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the generations before that too, especially.
Yeah. Or even the whole fear of going to get a prostate exam. Right? Like if you're over 40, you're supposed to go.
Well, who wants to talk about that? Who wants the doctor looking at your private stuff? Nobody.
Exactly. And it doesn't even matter who your doctor is. Like, do you really want somebody up there? And you know what? You got to get over that shame and
embarrassment.
The stigma, your whole self-awareness of whatever. It's your body. You got to keep it healthy. We have trained professionals that are there to help you keep it healthy. They have ways to do testing to make sure you don't get sick. The best thing that you can do is if you go for your checkup and they find it, the sooner they catch it, there's so much of a higher success rate of getting it treated and gone and not having to deal with it again. Because the worst part is that it's a silent killer, and they say that because people who don't get checked, they don't find out about it until it's too late, and then there's nothing you can do.
And men are notorious for not going to the doctor because, no, I'll be fine, it'll be okay, and it's not okay.
Yeah. The whole suck it up mentality is part of the problem.
I'm tough, I can take it.
Yeah.
But you can't, because if you got cancer in your private stuff there, it's not something you can just shrug off.
No. So if you have any concern at all, if you're over 40, definitely make an appointment with your doctor and get it looked at. Your doctor might say if you don't meet you don't have certain symptoms, that you don't have to go all the way through with it. But you need to talk to your doctor to make sure that you are good.
Oh yeah, for sure. And especially doctors can be lazy too and say it's fine, but you got to push. I know we shouldn't say that, but it's true. You hear a lot of that.
Your doctor's not going to call you to tell you to come in. You have to make the appointment.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
And then we also lost somebody over the pandemic to, I believe it was prostate cancer. Was it not Chad from Black Panther?
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman.
He suffered in silence for a long time. He continued acting. He didn't really tell a lot of people other than his immediate family. And then to the Marvel world, it was just a sudden blow that
all of a sudden he was gone.
He was gone, and he was such a great actor. He played great characters. He had a presence on the screen.
The scary thing was he was my exact age.
Yeah, he's our age.
Yeah. He was 44.
Yep, and that's it's scary.
It is, and that's why this year I actually did a lot of testing at the doctors, because I've been having shortness of breath, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Because I'm a mailman, I walk 3-4 hours a day, no problem. I'm not tired, it's okay. But if I shovel snow or I pull a ripcord on a snowblower to get it going and it won't start, I'm wheezing like a 85-year-old man about to have a heart attack, and I have to sit down for 10 minutes, and I'm all hot and stuff. So I told my doctor this. He sent me for x-rays, he sent me for a stress test, he sent me for the running thing. Maybe that is the stress test.
That's stress test.
Okay, what's the thing where you blow into whatever?
That's like a breathing test, pulmonary.
Yeah, I did that. I had
ECG.
The echocardiogram, ultrasound on my heart. Everything came back perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with me, apparently. We just can't figure out why you have these problems. Because even that we did blood work, all my levels are fine. There's nothing wrong with me, except when I try to do physical labor, I'm half dead. So, but you're okay, Sean. Everything's fine.
Well, that's a good reassurance as well. But I know we had talked about this before. There's a lot for people to process these days, and I think that's contributing to part of our issues, right? You're trying to process anything you have to deal with social media. You're dealing with your everyday life. You're dealing with things at work. You're dealing with the weather. You're dealing with how the person's driving in front of you. You've got all of this stuff coming into your brain constantly.
And we weren't designed for it.
No. So
we were designed to be loping through the jungle, watching out for predators, and that's about it.
Yeah, you're either running or hunting.
Right, exactly. That's true. And now we're doing everything, and we've got social media and 8 to 10 hours of screen time every day, depending on what you do for a living, and it's overwhelming, and we're all exhausted.
What's really nice, though, if you can find a really good podcast to listen to help you just forget about everything else and just enjoy the content that's on that podcast.
Have you discovered podcasts like that?
Yeah, well, I'm on one right now, the Soul Forge.
That is true.
I've also been really enjoying the Epsilon 3, which is a Babylon 5 podcast, and the Cosmic Pizza podcast. Both of those, like one is all Babylon 5 stuff, and then the Cosmic Pizza it could be anything. It could be geek related, it could be movies, it could be music. They've had comedians on there. I find for myself, like even when I'm at work, if I just plug in some headphones and toss on a podcast, what I like about it is you feel like you're part of the conversation. You're just sitting around with friends. You're not at work trying to crunch numbers or do whatever you got to do for work. You're just there as part of a conversation of friends, and I think that really reduces a lot of the stress in the workplace for me, anyways.
Oh yeah. If I wasn't able to listen to podcasts while I'm delivering the mail, I'd go crazy. It's part of my day. It's my routine. So
that's an important tip there for our Movember, is for people to find ways to get downtime, find ways to relax that are de-stressors. I know for myself, every day I go to the gym. I've been going, I shouldn't say that. I used to go to the gym every day, but this past week I managed to get there 3 days a week in a row.
That's good.
Got my cardio in, and I'm planning on continuing on going that forward. Before the winter, obviously, I was outside and enjoying the weather and running outside. But find what works for you and take care of yourself.
That's great advice. So if somebody would like to donate to the Movember cause, well, first of all, let's do yours. How would they donate to you specifically?
To donate to my cause specifically, I have my own, they call it a Mo space. It is http://mobro.co/DUNKFODDER. That's mobro.co/dunkfodder.
Very good. Very good. So that's how they could donate to you specifically. And to find out more, they just go to Movember.com.
Yeah, Movember.com. There's a Canadian site and an American site. Depending where you're coming from, it'll pick up automatically and send you to where you got to go.
And anybody can get involved in this too?
Anybody. Guy or girl, doesn't matter. There's lots of ways to help. There's lots of ways to spread awareness. You can donate. You can raise money. You can host parties. There's all kinds of fun stuff that you can do.
It's good. So it's important for your mental health and your physical health.
Absolutely.
All right. Is there anything we didn't cover that we should touch on?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and letting us know a little bit about Movember.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Hopefully I'll be back again soon.
I certainly hope so. So listeners, hope that was very enjoyable for you and you learned quite a bit that you didn't know before. So take care, listen to podcasts, and remember, it takes nothing to join the crowd. It takes everything to stand alone. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Soul Forge podcast. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we hope you'll tune in again next time. Remember that you can visit soulforgepodcast.com for all of our social media links. And don't forget to share the show with everyone you know. The Soul Forge podcast is your best source for living your best life.
Think about it.
This message is brought to you by Deadpool.
Gentlemen, how well do you know your happy sack? I'm sure you rummage around downstairs more than Mommy would like, but it's time you started paying attention to your favorite pastime, because that bag of beans bouncing around in your hand could be trying to kill you. What? Yeah, because testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer in men aged between 15 and 35. It's time to fight back. Hold each of your manberries, or as I like to call them, smooth criminals, in turn between your thumb and fingers. Give them a gentle roll around. Don't get too excited, though. You're on a mission here. You also need to check the tubes around the back. That's the spermatic cord and epididymis, but I'm sure you knew that. If at any point you feel an unusual lump, size shift, or irregularity, don't ignore it like a pussy. Man up and talk to your doctor. The alternative is not an option. Check those bad boys at least once a month after a bath or shower, so the next time you're shopping for one in the sexy salad section, remember to tweak the tomatoes before you go cucumber crazy. Haha, puns.
Hashtag touch yourself tonight.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.